Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and to my first haul video. Firstly, apologies to those of you who were waiting for this video to come out on Sunday, but if you happen to see the short video I posted late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, you would have seen that I had a slight technical issue involving the tripod I was using to film my videos. Unfortunately, it broke on me whilst I was setting up to record what would have been this video. It was only a very cheap and cheerful one. It only cost me £2.50 from one of my local charity shops. I had always had the idea to upgrade it once I found my feet doing these videos anyway, but I thought it would have lasted a bit longer than the 5 or 6 videos that I made with it. But at the end of the day, it did help me get over my first hurdle, which was getting out of just thinking about doing YouTube videos and actually doing YouTube videos. So in that instance, it did its job. Anyway, on with the haul. Okay, first of all, we have some network releases which I've managed to pick up from some charity shops. First of all, as you can see, we have the classic British film Father Came To, starring James Robinson Justice, Leslie Phillips, Stanley Baxter. I found that for £1, so that came home with me last week. Next, we have a blast from the past, from my childhood, classic British kids TV show, Clopper Castle. Here we have the complete series 2. I also remember many years ago having the annual for this, but that's unfortunately gone and been sold or passed on over the years. So we've got that as well. Next one is also a network. It's not really my cup of tea, but I saw it in a shop for £1. It will probably go on my doubles / swap pile. Networks, when I see them, I do pick them up, even if they're ones that don't really have an interest for me, because at some later stage in the future I may very well decide to do a swaps posting on social media and see whether or not I can fill any gaps of stuff I'm looking for by swapping with other collectors, but that's for something in the far future. So those were the 3 network releases which I found over the course of the last week. So I'll just pop those to one side. Okay, we also have a few more. We also managed to find School for Scoundrels. Now this one, as you can see, is still in its wrapper. Classic British comedy. Turns up a lot on a UK TV channel, Talking Pictures TV, but been finding some of these vintage classics released by Studio Canal, and it's always very enjoyable, so pick that up. Again, that was only £1. Next we have another classic British cinema starring one of my favourite actors, Stanley Baker, and directed by Joseph Lacey. Not one that I'm familiar with. I have watched one that's referenced here, The Servant. I have seen that one, and this one is part of a series of films that Joseph Lacey made whilst he was in the UK. So looking forward to seeing it. Also Studio Canal release. And last but no means least, on the DVDs that I picked up this week, Addams Family Series 1, the original 1960s black and white TV series. The slipcase is a little bit damaged, but that can be easily repaired. And the discs inside are pretty good. All I've got to do is just tidy up the cases a little bit, give them a little bit of a wipe over, but that all looks pretty good. I again only paid a couple of pounds for it, so I thought I'd pick that up a little while ago. I think it was middle of last year, I did pick up a Monsters box set, which was a Region 1, so that kind of goes well with that. Okay, pop those back in there. There we go, we'll just pop those back there. Now, on to some CDs which I found recently, so we'll just quickly go through those and see what we can find. Just before we move on to the CDs, I'd just like to give a big thank you to Terry over at YouTube channel Terry Talks Movies for all the help and advice he's given me in doing videos, and for both also giving a shout out and posting a link to my channel in his weekend live stream that he did on Sunday the 1st of June. I'd also like to thank some of those attendees on that live stream who went straight over to my channel and subscribed. I do appreciate all of that. In fact, I appreciate everybody who subscribes to my channel. My channel is just over a week old and it's been going pretty well. Anyway, on to the CD haul. Went into one of my local shops, that's a charity shop that helps support the local town, and somebody had given to that charity some Pink Floyd CDs, some of which are the first time I've actually had them in my sort of collection as such. First of all, we've got what I believe is Medal, yeah, Medal by Pink Floyd. All of these, the cases, I pretty much have replaced because the cases themselves were not in great condition, but the inlay cards and all the discs certainly were. So pick those up. So first of all, as I say, we had Medal. Then I picked up from the same set Wish You Were Here. Now, Wish You Were Here, I've actually got a later CD release, but my CD release has a glitch at the end of the disc. It's not disc rot, but for some reason it has trouble playing the last 5 minutes. So I saw this, and it was only a couple of pounds. In fact, each one was only really a couple of pounds. So I picked that up as a replacement. Then we've got Animals. Animals I actually do have on vinyl, but it was nice to grab a CD version of that to use. Then we have Momentary Lap of Reason. Again, not one that I had, but I have heard a lot of the tracks from here, so it was just nice to fill a gap. Next we had a later one, Division Bell. Again, this was a disc that I had once, but when I had to do a little bit of a cull, when I had basically too much in a collection and had to scale it down, I had to go through, sort through discs that I hadn't played for a long time, and that was one that I let go. But again, it was only a pound or so, so I thought I'd get a replacement. Then we had, finally from the Pink Floyd ones, we had Delicate Sound of Thunder live album. This one, I haven't replaced the case on. It is cracked a little bit there and cracked a little bit on the back, but everything looked okay about it. The discs all looked nice, and changing the case is a very easy thing to do. So that's a little group of Pink Floyd that we managed to pick up this last week. We'll just move those out of the way. And finally on the CDs for me, we have Tubular Bells. Tubular Bells 1, Tubular Bells 2. Tubular Bells is another one of those albums that I let go during a CD culling. Both of these were only £1 each. My main interest was Tubular Bells 2, which I've not actually ever heard, so that was a first for me. As they were both, as I say, £1, it seemed silly to leave both of them behind for that, so I thought, well, have the 1 and 2 and keep those together. Okay. Later in the week, I was going to one of my local charity shops where I work, and I managed to find for my wife Carol. Now that's what we call Disney. She's a big nail collector. She's collected almost every one that she can find. This was one that she didn't have in her collection. She was quite pleased to get this one because this is actually a 4-disc edition which has Disney Christmas songs listed on there. So she was more than happy to have that in her collection. So that's one for the missus. Okay, and next we have a lovely comic book haul. First of all, we have Batman Challenge of the Man-Bat. Now, if I remember correctly, back when the first Batman movie came out, the first Tim Burton Batman movie, way back in 1989, there was a big influx of Batman trade paperbacks. Obviously, they wanted to cash in on the movie coming out, and I think they released about 4 of these, which are black and white reprints of various Neil Adams stories. I actually originally had some of these back in the day, but when my collection needed scaling down, I did again take a little bit of a cold to the collection, and now that I'm in a better position for my collection, I've sort of got things back. As you do as a collector, you always get rid of things and then you end up going back to them later in life. This was only about £3–4, so I was quite pleased to pick that up. Next one is one I've already got. I actually bought Batman Killing Joke back in the day. I still have my original first print in DC, and I still have a first printing Titan edition. This is a 2nd edition Titan edition, and it was only a couple of pounds, so I decided to pick it up mainly because I do have the later edition in a Partworks where they did a recolouring. They've kind of taken the bright colours that we see here and they kind of dulled them down very much into sort of greys and blues, and I thought I'm going to pick this up. I can then take the other edition and compare the different in the colours, and that would be quite interesting to see. So pick that up. That's again only a couple of pounds, so nothing great on the wallet. Okay, then we have Death in the Family, the very big story that they did for Batman around about the same time, I think, as the Batman movie came out, where obviously Jason Todd was killed off. Again, nice condition trade paperback. Unfortunately, with a lot of trade paperbacks of that era that DC were producing, they did come out on this very sort of not very nice sort of newsprint, which didn't really do the printing of the comics much justice. Obviously today, if they were to print these, they'd be on glossy paper with richer, brighter colours, but from a nostalgia point of view, it's very much a let's go down memory lane with that sort of thing. Yeah, so there we go. We also picked up Lonely Place of Dying. I think this is a little bit later. I think this came out in the 90s, this trade paperback. If I have a quick look. Yes, 1990. This one came out. Again, it's got that sort of newsprint that they were using at the time. So you sometimes don't always get a very good look on some of the panels and pages. Very much you can see there where the next page is actually bleeding in to this page because the paper is so thin. Again, if this was printed today, it would probably be on much better quality paper, but then it would cost probably a lot more money. So we had that. Next one is one I've already got. This one is going to probably be a replacement. I think the copy that I've actually got in what my wife calls the library upstairs is a little bit worn, a little bit red. So this one I think will probably end up just being a swap over replacement copy, and with the one that's very red, I'll probably do a sell on that one, either eBay it or trade it in somewhere for something else. But there we go. So first of all, that was the second-hand editions that I managed to find, and nice collection of Batman comics there. So there we go. Pop those to one side. Also this week, talking of comic books, I bought a couple of new ones from a local comic shop where I work in Hive along the Kent coast, called Nerd Life Comics. Picked up number 2 of Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, 3-issue miniseries that Marvel's currently producing. What I'll probably do with this is collect the entire series of 3 and then read the whole series in one go. So picked that up this week as a new buy. Picked up something else for my wife as well in the comic shop Nerd Life, and that was Giant Size X-Men number 1. Currently Marvel are producing I think 4 or 5 of these Giant Size X-Men, which is basically taking I think a look at certain stories. I think the next one is Phoenix, but involving new characters. Not really something I'd probably read, but as I say, this is something I'm collecting for my wife so she can enjoy reading that. Last thing comic book wise that I found was something I hadn't heard of. Walt Simonson's Ragnarok, published by IDW, and it's very gorgeous looking artwork that you would expect from Walt Simonson. Basically going back to Norse god tales. Obviously he famously did in the 80s. He's run on Mighty Thor for Marvel, and basically looks like he's returning to very similar stories, and just loved the look of the artwork. So I decided to pick that up and treat myself to that. So there we go. So we got that was second hand, by the way. That was in their second hand collection. So we had quite a haul there of comic book items as well. And last but no means least, we are quite big puzzle fans. My wife is a big puzzle fan, and so am I. I like sort of movie related puzzles. I managed to pick up, although you probably can't see it, so I'll just raise the camera up slightly so you can see it. Managed to pick up a Imperial Walker jigsaw puzzle, still brand new. It's completely sealed, never been used. Not too keen on the picture of the Imperial Walker they use there, but I do like the other side because it's a double-sided jigsaw puzzle. I do like the blueprint design. Now I do have the Death Star version of this as well, which I got from the same charity shop probably about a year ago, so it was just nice. It was only about £4, so on a cold winter's day when it's raining outside, it's probably a nice jigsaw puzzle to do to kill some time. Anyway, that's the haul for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Please, if you'd like sort of videos like this, haul videos, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I do another video. Not too sure when I'll do another haul video. It just depends on what turns up in the charity shops and other places, and we'll go from there. My next video is hopefully going to be a little show and tell. I've got my eyes on some bits which I'm thinking of whipping out of my collection and showing you, and whilst maybe taking you down a little comic book memory lane of how I got the items and where I collected them from. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you saw something that you might have liked, and I'll catch you on the next video, and thank you for joining me. Bye bye.